Okay, I'd like to show you how to import contacts from MailChimp into Outlook. If I open my MailChimp folder, you see we're just in MailChimp, and this is my list, Peter's Posse. I've got a number of lists, and we've got 705 subscribers here. I want to import these into Outlook so that I've got a list of contacts within Outlook. So the first thing I need to do is create a contact folder. So I'll right click on the folder I want to put it in, click new folder, give it a name, and I'm just going to give it the same name as my list, but you don't need to do that. Okay, make sure that it says the folder contains contact items and tell it where we want to put it. Click OK, and it should add there we are, I've got a new folder added to my folders. So the next thing that I want to do is to set up the import. So I'm just going to do a one-off import. I'm going to click on import, select the list I want to import from, so there's Peter's Posse, pick the folder I've just set up, and now I need to map the fields, and we need to do this so that the add-in knows which MailChimp fields to put into which Outlook fields. So it's selected the list Peter's Posse. It's automatically created the first three for me. But here I've got a drop down with a list of MailChimp fields and a list of Outlook fields. So I'll just select the MailChimp field and then select the Outlook field to map it to. So company maps to company. There are a lot of Outlook fields, so unfortunately you might have to scroll through a few till you find the one you want. Job title, I'm going to map to job title. Phone, I'm going to map to business phone. There's a number of different phone fields within Outlook. Mobile, I'm going to map to mobile. And then the last field is a group. Within MailChimp I've set up groups, and it defines what my contacts are interested in, so it's called interested in. And rather than using an inbuilt Outlook field, I'm going to create a new custom field. And with groups, you can have one or more values in there, so we have to use a multi-value field. So I'm going to tick multi-value, and I'm going to give my new field a name. It must be a different name. You can't have it the same name as a field which already exists. And you're not allowed any spaces or any of these characters in the name. So I've just called it interested in with no spaces. I'm going to save that, and that's now added that field to my folder as a custom field, and you can see it's mapped it here, and it tells me that interested in is a group. The star over here tells me that it's a custom field, and the multi-value tells me it's a multi-value custom field. So that's everything mapped. I'm going to click OK. I then just need to look at the filter and the filter options. If there were already any contacts in my contact folder, this would decide whether or not to update the existing contacts, or whether not to import a new contact if there is one, or whether to allow duplicates. And then the last option is to decide whether or not, if a contact is unsubscribed on MailChimp, whether to import it. So I'm going to tick that to say I don't want unsubscribed contacts. And this is a one-time import. It's just going to happen once. It's not going to happen regularly. So I'm going to click import, and it just takes a few seconds. Okay, so here it tells me we've imported from the list Peter's Posse to the folders Peter's Posse, and we've imported 705 contacts. If I go and look at my list, there were 705 subscribers, so it's imported all the contacts. I can click finish, and if I click on my folder, I've now got a list. Down here it tells me I've got 705 items. I don't like the this particular view to look at this, so I'm going to change my view to a list view, and that's much easier to look at. And then I'm going to change the fields slightly. I don't want the modified field, which tells me when it was last modified. I want to see my custom field which I created, so I'm going to right click on the top and click Field Chooser, and in the Field Chooser I'm going to select at the bottom User Defined Fields in Folder, and there are two fields in there. One is MailChimp status, which is created automatically, and that creates a field to say whether it has been subscribed or unsubscribed. And then I've got my Interested In field, which is the new custom field I've created, and that shows me what the different interests are which have been added. And if I want to, I can right click on that and click Group By this field, and I'll go to Expand Collapse and collapse all the groups, and you can now see I can see how many people are in each of these groups. And in actual fact, some of these people will be in more than one group, but they will show up under football, and they might show up under hockey as well, because they're in all those different groups. So that is how you import contacts from MailChimp into Outlook.